Morning, everybody, everyone. Thank you for.
Sorry, don't hear you.
Now it's okay. Okay, hear me?
I cannot hear you, but maybe the problem is only here.
And for the rest people, do you hear me now or not?
Hello. Do the others here maybe if because I can't and maybe it's oh.
Yes.
Okay, then it's a problem here.
Okay, but you record and on the recording it would be voice or not? That would be all. Okay. So welcome everybody. My name is Ewa Kołoszyc. I am a researcher from the West Pomeranian University of Technology in Szczecin in Poland. I'm also farm facilitator in our project R4D. So I would like to give you some small picture of Polish dairy sector, and I would like to also show you some needs and solution which our farmers and NDA group evaluated in the past in February and before February last year. So let's go to the first slide. This slide shows us some key features our dairy sector in Poland. So we are 13 number in the world production. Also, we every year see that the production increased by 2% and milk yield also increased by 2.5% per year. And on our market every year decreased around, the number of farms decreased around 6%. So our production is selling to the processors in amount 83%. So it's still 17% of milk which are not on the market, not going to the processors. And Poland is self-sufficiency in the level 119%. And let's just go to these 3 points. So let's talk about the milk production, number of cows, and milk yields. So we joined the EU in 2004, and during this 20 years almost, the production increased in Poland around 30%. In the same time, the milk yield also increased around 75%, and we see also decreasing the cows number around 25%. So the direction is the changes are quite similar like in Europe. So milk yield increasing, numbers of cows decreasing, and the production also increasing. In Poland, the production is mainly in regions which are in the central and east part of Poland, from 3 regions, which are Wielkopolskie, Mazowieckie, and Podlasie. There is 60% of milk which are processing in cooperatives in dairy plants. So on the western part and southern part, there is not so important regions in the milk production. How looks like the structure of our sector? You can imagine that in 2004 we had more than 1 million dairy farms in Poland, 1 million, with average dairy herd around 2 cows per farm. So during these 20 years, the number of farms is around now less than 200,000, and the average herd size is around 12 cows. I think it's still micro scale in comparison to Western Europe. But the milk production mainly is in a bigger farms. So when you see the second chart, you can find that around 60%, more than 60% dairy farms have less than 10 cows. But on the other hand, there is around 20% of farms which has more than 50% of cows. So in these farms, which have more than 20 cows, there is around 80% of our milk production, which usually goes to the market, goes to the processors. And who buys this milk? Mainly, they are dairy cooperatives, farmers cooperatives, and they buy around 19% of milk which are processing in Poland. We consume each year around 330 kgs of milk equivalent. We have around 38 million people in Poland, and we see just in the last few years that the consumption increased, but we cannot consume every our product. So we are exporter netto, so we export much more than we import. Mainly the situation in trade is quite good, because every year we see that the export is bigger and bigger, so the situation is really good. What is the most important product? We produce all of this kind of products, but the cheese has the main share in export value. It's around 36%. We are 6th producer cheese in the world. So there is a lot of tons which we produce, and mainly we export to the European Union, to the Germany and the Czech Republic. So I hope that this is some basic information about our dairy sector in Poland. And now I would like to show you some information about factors which influence on this sector. I will show you the SWOT metrics. Let's start from the strengths. So we are very big producer, very important producer on the market, world market also. We produce different products, from the very simple milk to the cheeses as well. So we have very good developed in export. Mainly to the European Union, but also to the Asian countries and African countries. Of course, the big advantage is also that we have support from government and from the EU, but also we have a very strong tradition and knowledge in milk production and processing. Of course, we have some weaknesses. Mainly they are connected with the technology. There is a big difference in technology in production in a small farms and a bigger one. So the smaller one, they use a lot of people work on the farm. The smaller farms are very dependent on subsidies, and they have higher costs due to the high opportunity cost on the farm. I think that the weaknesses is also lack of organization, which can representing bigger farms, bigger dairy producers on the market with citizens, general society, also in political world. And we have some opportunities. I understand that now it's very hard to hear something positive when we have crisis on the market, but I will say something, only few words. So I think the big opportunities are foreign markets, especially markets on Asia and Africa. It's also big opportunities in increase of global consumption and health trends also, because increasing health awareness could, I think, boost demand on high quality products. Also, some studies show us that dairy products are very important in poor countries, especially for health and development, these people living there. So, of course, some opportunities are also in innovation, in new technologies and new practices, which can increase the efficiency and also reduce the cost on the farm. So let's go to the last things, threats, and I think they are quite similar like in the rest of the Europe. So changes in EU policy every few years, it's very big problem, a lot of changes on the market, a lot of changes in the production, which is very hard for farmers. What is very hard for farmers? Of course, a lot of fluctuation of prices, not only milk prices, which are very important, but also raw materials like fuel, like energy, etc. It's affected a lot on the cost of production. Of course, climate change, we see every day, every week what happened, and a lot of rain or droughts. It's very, very hard time in agriculture, also in dairy farms. And some kind of societal trends, plant-based lifestyle, or also awareness of environmental. It's something which is very important also here in Poland. These factors affected directly in trends in consumption. So I think that we can go now to the needs, which should be an answer on these threats. We made the survey with our Polish NDA members. So what we can see that in these three areas, which are very interested in R4D project, this area, the needs in this area are scored very similar. So they are almost on the same level of importance in Poland. So let's go a little bit deeper. In technical efficiency, farmers said that there is very big need in prevention, in innovative feeding system for cows and for calves. In environment, animal welfare and society, there is need in mitigation practices and strategies, also effective communication and some kind of transparency to the general public, and also reducing antibiotic use. And last, economic and social resilience. We see that the most important need now in Poland is a work-life balance. Also very high score has salary and returns and reliable information sources and knowledge and training, which I think Justyna will talk about. I will not talk about this solution because we did the assessment with our NDA. I will show you only 12 from 20 because I want to have a clear slide here. You can read it. So all of these three areas are very important, and you can find here the solution which farmers said that they are built the resilience in their farms. So now we will try to work on the fact sheet, on some description, this innovation, just give farmers examples from which point they should start if they want to, for example, bring some innovation to their farms. So just go to the summary. I hope that you see that the potential in the milk production in Poland is quite big. I didn't say that the main breed in Poland for dairy cows are Holstein, and with the 7,400 kgs, there is still potential to increase the production, I think. And also we have some challenges, especially with technology on the smaller farms, but also the challenges are in consumer preferences, which are changing all the time. And the second things is, I think, very important, that Polish NDA's needs analysis shows that the three areas of resilience are equally important. So improving one of this area, you cannot forget about the rest of them, because they are really, really important for our farmer. So in response on this sphere needs, we are preparing description, also some video materials of the best solution for building the resilience, just for facilitating the farmers access to this information, innovation and information. So I think that that was my last slide. I hope that you understand a little bit better Polish situation, and if you will have any question, I'm ready to answer. I hope that I can answer you this question. So Jeff, can we move further to Justyna presentation?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Eva. Maybe we can take all the questions at the end.
Yes. Justyna, are you ready?
Can you see me all?
Yes, we can see it, but it's not yet in presentation mode.
Just a second. I've uploaded the presentation. One moment. Is it better now?
Yes. Okay.
Is it better now? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yes. So hello to everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, actually still. I would like to present myself. My name is Justyna Kryger. I'm a senior economics specialist in Kujawian-Pomeranian Agriculture Center in Minikowo, and I work in the Department of Agriculture, Economics and Management. The subject of my today's speech is the role and challenges of agricultural consultancy in optimizing milk production. Maybe a few words at the beginning. What is actually a consultancy? So it's an activity, the essence of which, as I might say, we solve farmers' problems, we provide assistance, we try to find a solution, and we implement after this solution. As we know, there is lots of things and different problems are on each farm, and each farm is different. But basically, the areas where we are trying to give our advice are production, technological, nutrition, herd management, organizational, economic, agri-environmental, marketing and sales. basically, you can say that our goal is, the consulting goal is to help people help themselves. How do we work? What is my role? In practice means my activity in 3 areas. First of all is advising. When we go and see a farmer, we discuss with him the needs. We try to identify the problem, his expectations, and then we try to find a solution. Also, as advisors, we transfer knowledge. We train people. We shape the active attitude of the farmers so then they can work and solve problems independently. And within it's an information. We're trying to keep our farmers up to date with all the modern techniques, with all the informations on the new technology, on the new scientific achievements, and also on the new regulations, and etc. A few words about the agricultural advisory services in Poland. Always played a very important role in development of agricultural and rural areas. It's going back, our institutional funds are going back to the mid of 19th century, when after an evolution came after the Second World War, big transformation came in the 90s. And when we joined the European Community in 2004, this resulted that became intensification of globalization process, both in a food economy sector, social life, and rural residents, and life itself on villages and rural areas changed dramatically. We as advisors may say that after joining the European Community, we implemented a common agricultural policy very efficiently. I work in a public sector. Recently, we've noticed that there is lots of private companies appearing on the market. As we know, farmer needs advisors from, field companies. They provide the feed, the machinery from vets. So it's lots of consultants and advisors, actually, the farmers see in their day-to-day work. I want to present to you a table how over the many years my work has changed. Say after the Second World War, in the years of 60s and 80s, the priority of advisor was technology, new production plant technology or mechanization. There were this area when we as advisors were focusing on. In the 90s, after these big changes in my country, when the preferential loans were available, we were preparing the business plans for the farmers. So we also were doing lots of market research on prices, we introduce farmers agricultural accounting and calculations. Now we are in a phase when we've joined the European Community, so our focus is on agricultural policy. Well, as a farmers, they received a support, but also requirements. The support is direct payments, EU or even Polish investment subsidies the farmers can receive, but they need to meet requirements. There are certain regulations like environmental protection, animal welfare, or food safety. So you can see that over the years, my role as advisor is changing, and in my advisory center, I can show you. This is the main head office building. My head office is seated in a quite picturesque area. My center is in the middle of Poland, and it's quite beautiful. On behind, we've got natural grasslands. They are Natura 2000. We do give training for the farmers and also other residents of rural areas. We improving their qualifications. We help preparing documentation for the farmers. We conduct different analysis, and also, as you can see, we do a lot of experimental plots. We've got with various crops, with beetroots, with potatoes, with rape. We've got a different forums or conferences, both national and international. These plots, experimental plots, farmers can visit. They can see the variety of crops we present. We've got a massive irrigation system in place as well. Also, in my center, we've got different departments. Department for animal and plant production, and department for agritourism, culinary, for ecology and environmental or economic. So farmers, they don't only come to my head office. In my Kuyavin and Pomeranian center region, we've got 19 small towns branches. When our advisors, local advisors are there, when they've got they are in touch constantly with the farmers. So we try to be with them in contact all the time. As I said, we prepare lots of conferences and forums. I've prepared a few pictures. There are animal shows, and we not only beef or dairy, they also sheep, goose. Recently, we've got show with the goats. So we've got lots of activities going on, and we trying, obviously, we be always up to date with them. So what the farmers actually need from us? First of all, we need to be open to the other people, be able to talk to them, try to understand them, and by making sure that we maintain a long-term relationship with them in order to help them take the right decision. I represent my company, my center, so they need to trust me. To be able to trust me, I have to have a good opinion and ensure that my advices are not. I work as in a public advisory center. So my aim is for them to make sure that the advices I give them, they will help them, and I don't see any profits in it. This is just my pleasure, and I feel positive that I did help them. Constantly, as advisors, we update and expand our knowledge. We participate in many trainings. Some of them ends with exams and tests. So I may say it's not that easy. We read lots of professional press, maintain contacts with scientists, university institutes. All those people come to our conferences and our forums. In my company work about 200 advisors. So it's one of the largest advisory center in a country. What about the dairy farms when we are focusing today on them? Modern intensive dairy farm faces many questions. We see the farmer every day needs to ask his question about milk production. Do I focus on quantity or quality? About the herd, especially now welfare of animals, it's so important. The reproduction, genetics, animal feed, quality. Feed is very expensive recently. So what are the substitutes? for maybe cheaper options of feeding the animals. Land, when you saw the picture, while quite a lot of lands are owned by church in my area, so there is a shortage and obviously a price for price as well. It's quite high for renting the farms. Eco schemes, as you know, we all as a European community, this year we had a new eco schemes as a new instrument. There were new regulation, new requirements from the farmers. Especially was difficult for the dairy farms with a lot of grasslands. They had was difficult to meet the requirements. Soon the Green Deal target is coming in. We know they're going with as well tight regulations, and that's a big challenge for the farmers to meet them. Cost, profits achieved, and investments. Obviously, every farm now need to make sure they're doing something for them and maybe for the next generation, say children. So they to buy machinery to rent, how to implement new technology. I prepared like a small example for this intensive breeding and expensive production the farmers are facing every day. So they carefully need to look at the cost, and sometimes by reducing the quality or quantity of feed, the farmers may save the money at the beginning, but then instead the quality of food leads to the deterioration of cattle health, reproductive problems, lower efficiency, higher veterinary costs. So there came all these advisors, and obviously farmer in the end it's his decision, but there's lots of challenges and needs on a dairy farm. Comes to cost, yes, the analysis, a cost analysis, we do recognize, and we always, because I work in this economic department, I work with quite a few farmers on my own. It's my job, it's not only based in an office, but I do also visit my farmers, and I see how the farming are growing or deteriorating. Sometimes when I go and see where the problem is, but first of all, we always tell them, manage your cost, make sure you systemize them to after analyze them, and this will help you optimize the level of optimize the level of cost in your management mechanism in a farm, especially now when the times are very unstable and uncertain. I also do work as a coordinator in a process or network, maybe you all know, Farm Accountancy Data Network. So we collect data from the farmers, all data. This is a system which monitors income and business activities in all European agricultural holdings. It's very important source, not only for the farmer, where he can have his report, individual report or a dynamic report, which is based on the last few years back, and he can see how his farm is doing, he's doing fine or not so fine, and then we can try to find a solution, what can we do. But it's a source of microeconomic data based on this small, simple bookkeeping principles. The data is representative according to region, economic size, type of farming. With this new European Green Deal, now the system is changing. Actually, it's converting in a farm sustainability data network, when the data is going to be also collected on social farming practices So we are asking sometimes ourselves, now we're gonna know if the farmer goes to a cinema or goes to a theater, because this type of questions are going to be asked the farmers. The role of information is the one thing I'd like to talk about as an advisor. We know that farmers reliable on a very fast and comprehensive information. All of them, they've got mobile phones with them. They got Facebook, WhatsApp, all these applications when they get information as soon as possible. But believe me, having information gives them advantage in taking the short or long-term decisions. Short, for example, fuel prices. Do we buy or not to buy? What's on the situation on the market? It's very important, and they may save, for example, in money. Information alongside land capital and human labor, it's one of the more valuable capital in good management. We as a center provide an information for our farmers. I will try to show you a web page. Can you see my web page?
Yes.
Yes, you can. So we as a center, I'm a coordinator of this web page as well, provide our farmers with up-to-date data. We show them prices on wheat, for example, maize, wheat, rape, on the meat of animals, fruits, vegetables, fertilizers. We provide them with all the information about the tax, subsidies, management. Also, we've got a direct link on this page to I believe, very well-known global dairy trade in New Zealand. So this what we do for the farmers, also for them to be up to date with all the information, obviously information about their buyers, competition, or market price, in general information. This is the information they need and they use every day. And what are the challenges? What we noticed recently, there is the faster change on in the modern times. It's not like used to be before that the knowledge was passed from generation to generation. Now the changes are occurring, I may say, faster than the generation. Much of the knowledge we've got, it's true, but very quickly out of date. This then requires, quick and reliable hold on of the new information. But obviously this new information you must be able to obviously receive. Some of the information, they may become untrue and fake. We know we are facing a new modern technologies. I believe you all have heard of Agriculture 4.0, when the drones and robots are going to work on our fields. Obviously, we've got the robots to milk cows already, but there is more and more satellite or digital techniques coming into agriculture and obviously dairy farms. Evolution of society lifestyle has changed. So this is a challenge for agriculture and the different farms. People expect they've got new nutritional model food, not only distribution, but the consumption. The role of animal welfare in sustainable food system is very, very important. People are more, customers are more aware of the animal welfare, and there are challenges for the farmers in this area. Climatic environmental change, we know the Green Deal having Green Deal is coming, and they're going to be new policies, new requirements, and the globalization itself, the mega trends in food economy, or with the demographic changes, in both Europe or in the world. Summarize, we've seen that last year was, I might say, very crazy. The prices soared or dropped. Nobody knew what the price is going to be the next day. The milk prices reached the highest, and there was a very short but very good time for the farmers. They were thinking very positively about the future. But now the prices have dropped, and analysis saying that the further declines in milk prices are going to follow in the following months. Fuel prices, fertilizers, or raw materials, they've dropped a little bit, but not to this level the farmers wish to. A lot of farms stopped their production, and like Eva said before, it's more cows, but small amounts of farms as well. So smaller farms are not. It's difficult to face these problems, and they are giving up on production. I believe that farmers, the growing farmers, do believe that they need to keep looking for the good advisors, and they need to implement new innovations. The new innovations, they need be thought throughout and thoroughly. The farmers need to find the best solution, and they need help of good and different advisors related to agriculture. And lastly, we contribute to farmers becoming more aware of process and their connection with environmental protection, food safety, public health, and animal welfare. We as advisors are playing a big role between the local and non-local systems. And as I said at the beginning, we are happy if the farmers is performing well and the farm is growing, and hopefully the farm can be passed to the further younger generation. So thank you for your time. And if you've got any questions, I would like to answer them later.
Thank you. Eva, should we move to your farmer or?
Yes, I think that
Question.
it's a good time. Yeah. Maciej, could you show us your presentation?
Hello everyone, this is my presentation. This presentation is on the resilience of dairy farms from the perspective of a young farmer in Poland. My name is Maciej Surówka. I came from Poland for a small village, Skoraczewo, in Kujaw and Pomorian. Currently, I am a student of the ZSTK in Sypniewo. In the future, I would like to take over farm from my parents. My parents are Piotr and Iwona Surówka. Since 2004, they have been running their farm, which they really expand and modernize. Today, the farm has an area of 115 hectares, including lease. The farm is energy breeding and breeding dairy cows. In 2018, we started using a new freestanding barn. This barn is additionally extended with a paddock for barn cattle. All the cows create the capacity of 9,000 liters as of for was possible. We innovate on our farm, make to work easier and reduce the overtime For example, production cost. We recently set up and phosphorus detection system. System that firstly helps us to capture the right moment of reproduction, but at the same time help to reduce the number of reproduction and to reduce the cost of improve the kinetics of the herd. I think we are going to the right decision because thanks or to this our policy is constantly increasing, but at the same time we do not forget about the health and health of the milk of the herd because it's key to success. Because only a healthy cow will give us a lot of milk. We also try to practice in courses and training grow to improve our farm. After graduating from school in Sipniewo, I would like also continue my studies in agriculture. I think that to know knowledge and skills gained is this way the immunity of the young bird increase. It gives me the ability to predict the problem of the find a quicker way. The problem is so the learning knowledge also gives us opportunities after solution be prepared with farms and help us to live touch the problem and what solution can be appeared. After the last trip, I already see what comes to future hope and apply in my farm. First of all, as a priority in today unstable time, it is necessary to focus on recording production cost, uncomfortable. I'm sorry for my language. The price of milk is not satisfactory, and you have to look for a way to lose productively and health to reduce costs. It is often associated with an investment that in the beginning is very expensive, but over time I will bring us benefits. Yes, it was experiment of filling station of or even the pressure of new machines that help to the some work faster and fewer people. Is a young future better? Not just in the future there we centrally be a problem with hands to work. It's less and less willing to work on the farm. Therefore, the application of innovation to farms is inevitable and order form than function, but I can't imagine a situation where I wouldn't do the over my farm. From my parents, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, but that's why I'll have to learn to create a farm so that in this worst moment I wait to survive for a better time. Thank you for attention. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Maciej.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think if these were all presentations,
Yes,
Right,
yes,
then we
that was
can-
all our presentations.
then we can move to the questions for these three presentations. And I see that Maria has a question. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for all these presentations from Poland. I have a question for farmer. How many people work on the farm? Because I understood that it's family farm, but I'm not sure if I catch how many people are involved in such big farm with so many agricultural land and also so many cows.
Maciej, could you answer this question?
Yes. I have 115 cows, and with these cows work the 4 people. I disponize the 115 hectares of land, and 14% with these sectors ideal less, and I like this work, and I get farm on my parents in the future.
But it means that you have employers because if I understand correctly, your parents work full time and additional 2 people, or
on this farm I worked with my parents and 1 worker, 4 people.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one more. In future,
Okay.
do you think to introduce milking robots and to increase the farm, or you will stay with this size and with milking power?
The milking robot is in Poland is a very big cost. I decided the milking hail. It's a cheapest option, and robot is very good for the save time and save money for the workers. But milking hail, in my opinion, is better.
Okay, thank you.
Better. Thank you.
George, you have a question?
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I'm back for our farmer guest, Jeff. Another question. What is the biggest challenge that he sees ahead for his system over the next, say, 5 or 6 years?
What?
What is the biggest challenge that you face on the farm to keep the farm running smoothly over the next 5 or 6 years?
The biggest challenge? The biggest challenge is the price of milk. The price, the cost of the production is very higher in my country, and the workers is not good situation in Poland.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are you able to do then to improve the situation on your farm? What solutions?
I don't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you can you? No.
The question was about the solutions you have on your farm to face this challenge of worker and of costs.
Wait a minute. The solution. The milking robot is a solution. This one one. I'm sorry for my language. Not good. Not good. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I
Or
don't.
maybe I
no.
will help a little bit, Maciej.
Yes.
George, I think that if these farms, which I saw a few times, I saw that they are very well organized in costs, I think, and their strategy is not put too much money in equipment. So if you have quite cheap workers in Poland, because it's quite cheap still, so probably you will try to give more money worker just to keep him on the farm, not put money to the automatization, because it's very, very expensive with a very big fluctuation on the market. For example, in interest rate, it's unpredictable in Poland. So probably farmers will stay with the worker, will try to do as much work themselves and what they can, and don't invest too much money in put capital to the to you know, mechanization, automatization.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
If I have a question, in the beginning you said that one challenge is that there are societal demands, which are maybe asking for other dairy system, but in the other way you said that the quality of milk is very well appreciated. So is the dairy sector, what is the society saying about the dairy sector in Poland?
Well, there are some associations, some people just who say that it's too intensive, that the milk is nothing good. It's quite the same story like in the Western Europe. But I think most of the citizens just buying the same products with a good quality, and they are, you know, they don't looking for the other products. So of course there are some association, but I think they are not so loud now. Yeah, so there are some problems, but I think they are not so huge like in the Western Europe. But I think that in the future they will have a very big voice in our society, especially the, you know, the young people. They are looking a little bit different on the farms, on animals, and the welfare on the farm. I think that will be a challenge, but not now. Maybe in 5-10 years it will be some problem in Poland as well.
And another question, is there a pressure, because we saw that you increased milk production, we did the same in Luxembourg, and I think in Ireland, George can say the same, and all the countries which increased milk production quite highly the last 5 to 10 years now have problems to meet the emission targets of the country, ammonia or greenhouse gases. How is this in Poland? How do you face this challenge?
Yeah, that's the story, because nobody talk about it. So maybe we are happy, maybe we're not. We will see in a few years, but for now it's not a problem in Poland. We do not discuss with about that, and we do not have any regulation from our side, not from the EU, but inside in Poland, we cannot see any regulation with that. So there is some space. I think that I told you that there is potential to increase the production. When you see 60% of our farms, which are very small, and they are disappearing on the market, slow, but they are disappearing. So you have a space on the market to increase your production still. There is some, you know, point that we say, no, nothing more. you cannot produce more, but we see that there is some small space to go for increasing the production still.
So that's an opportunity in your case. Okay, I don't know if there are other questions. Otherwise, we can stop here. I will stop the recording, and then you can send it to persons who would like to hear this interesting information. I thank you, Eva, with your. It was Alexander and how is it called, Marcek, for the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much that we have opportunity to show some information.